Most men spend their lives asking the wrong question. They ask, what do women want? They search for signs, signals, and secret formulas, hoping that if they understand women well enough, love will finally make sense. But here's the truth no one tells you. Women are not confusing. They are responsive. They don't react to what you say you are. They respond to how you carry yourself when no one is watching, especially when things don't go your way. Every silence, every decision, every boundary you set or abandon is being felt, not judged, but experienced. If you've ever wondered why attraction fades, why effort isn't enough, or why being good never seems to be sufficient, this is not a guide to controlling women. It is a mirror, held up to you. Because the moment you understand how women think is the moment you realize they've been responding to you all along. Welcome to the channel, Stoic Love Wisdom. This is where you will find valuable lessons and tips to help you build a truly lasting love. In today's video, we will explore, what do women think? Decoding psychology through men's actions, with real stories and insight. Don't miss the advice that can change the way you perceive and live in love. You will definitely feel more comfortable when you find a quiet place and put on your headphones. Let yourself relax and be ready to receive the positive messages in today's video. Are you ready to start this journey? Let's start together. Part 1. Women don't respond to words, they respond to the man behind the words. I've learned something most men figure out too late, if they ever figure it out at all. Women don't fall in love with what you say. They fall in love with who you are when you say nothing. When a woman looks at a man, she's not consciously analyzing him the way men analyze women. She's not asking, is he handsome enough, or does he earn enough? Not directly. She's asking something far more primitive, far more ancient. How does this man move through the world? And here's the brutal truth most men don't want to hear. Women read a man's inner state through his actions, not his intentions. You can have a heart full of love and a mouth full of promises, but if your behavior communicates insecurity, fear, or neediness, that's the message she receives. Stoicism teaches us one core principle that applies perfectly here. You are not judged by what you feel. You are judged by what you do, and how calmly you do it. What women are really watching. A woman is always observing, not in a paranoid way, but in a biological one. She watches how you handle silence, how you respond to uncertainty, how you act when things don't go your way, how easily you give your power away. She notices whether you chase or attract, react or respond, beg or stand firm. Most men think attraction is about impressing. In reality, attraction is about self-containment. A Stoic man doesn't try to control a woman. He controls himself. And that, paradoxically, gives him influence. The emotional economy women live in. Here's something I learned after years of mistakes. Women live in an emotional economy. Every action you take either adds value to your emotional presence, or withdraws value from it. Complimenting her excessively. Withdrawal. Explaining yourself too much. Withdrawal. Panicking when she pulls away. Massive withdrawal. Calm silence. Deposit. Firm boundaries. Deposit. Walking away without drama. Compound interest. Women don't consciously calculate this, but their nervous system does. A man who is emotionally expensive, calm, centered, not easily shaken, becomes attractive without effort. A man who is emotionally cheap, over-available, anxious, desperate, loses value no matter how good his intentions are. Why women pull away from nice men? This is where many men get confused and bitter. They ask, why do women lose interest when I treat them well? Because nice is not the same as grounded. Niceness often hides fear. Fear of losing her. Fear of conflict. Fear of being alone. Women feel that fear long before you admit it. A Stoic man treats a woman well because it is his standard, not because he hopes for approval. The moment your kindness becomes a strategy, she senses it. And attraction dies in strategy. The power of emotional non-reactivity. Stoicism isn't about being cold. It's about being unmoved by chaos. When a woman tests you, and she will, she's not trying to hurt you. She's asking, is this man stable enough for me to relax? If you react emotionally, you argue. You justify. You chase. You fail the test. If you stay calm, you listen. You respond briefly. You remain centered. You pass. Not because you won, but because you didn't lose yourself. A woman doesn't trust a man who collapses under emotional pressure. Masculine presence is felt, not explained. Here's a truth that changed everything for me. You don't convince a woman you're masculine. You allow her to feel it. Masculine presence shows up as slower speech, fewer words, clear decisions, emotional restraint. It's not silence for silence's sake. It's silence that comes from inner fullness. A Stoic man doesn't rush to fill gaps. He lets space exist, and space creates gravity. Women fall in love with consistency. One grand gesture won't save you. One deep conversation won't secure her. What matters is behavioral consistency. Can you be calm today and calm tomorrow? Set a boundary once, and keep it. Walk away when disrespected, even if it hurts. Women don't trust intensity. They trust predictable strength. Stoicism teaches. Endure what must be endured. Release what must be released. That includes people. The first mental shift every man must make. If you remember only one thing from this part, remember this. Women are not attracted to men who need them. They are attracted to men who choose them. Need comes from emptiness. Choice comes from abundance. A Stoic man is whole before a woman enters his life. She becomes an addition, not a solution. And women feel safest, most feminine, and most attracted when they are not responsible for your emotional stability. In love, sometimes we don't need too many promises, but just a little understanding and a heart that knows how to listen. It is the experiences, both happy and sad, that help us mature and know how to love more fully. Here, I want to contemplate those things with you, so that each step in the journey of love becomes more clear-headed and peaceful. If you feel that what I share is valuable, please click like to support this video. And if this is your first visit, please click subscribe and turn on the notification bell, so you don't miss the next insightful perspectives on love. I also really want to hear from you. What do you like most about today's story? Leave a comment below, because who knows, your experience might be a great source of encouragement for someone else who is listening. And now, let's continue to explore what's waiting for you. Part 2. Why women test men, and how Stoic men pass without trying. If you don't understand why women test men, you will take it personally. And the moment you take it personally, you lose. I didn't learn this from books. I learned it from silence after arguments, from distance after closeness, from women who said, "You're amazing," one week and "I'm not sure anymore," the next. Women test men not because they are cruel, but because they need certainty in a world of emotional risk. A woman invests emotionally far deeper than a man. When she opens her heart, her nervous system demands proof. Is this man stable, or will I have to carry him? That question drives everything. Tests are not attacks, they are questions. Most men hear tests as criticism. A Stoic man hears them as information requests. When she delays replies, cancels plans last minute, challenges your opinion, pulls back affection, says something slightly disrespectful, she's not saying, "You're not enough." She's asking, "Are you centered enough to remain yourself when I apply pressure?" The test is not about her words. It's about your nervous system. Do you tighten? Or do you stay relaxed? The fatal mistake, explaining yourself. Men fail tests in one primary way. They over-explain. They justify. They argue. They try to correct her perception. Stoicism teaches restraint, especially verbal restraint. The moment you feel the urge to defend yourself emotionally, you've already lost leverage. Why? Because explanation is usually rooted in fear. Fear of losing her. Fear of misunderstanding. Fear of abandonment. Women can smell fear faster than logic. A Stoic man understands. I do not need to be understood to remain grounded. Silence is not weakness, it is emotional authority. When a woman tests a man, she is watching one thing above all. Does he rush to restore comfort, or does he allow discomfort to exist? Most men rush. They apologize for things they didn't do. They smooth things over prematurely. A Stoic man allows tension to breathe. Not out of ego. Not to punish her. But because I am not afraid of emotional weather. Silence, when rooted in calm, communicates strength. Not silent treatment. Not withdrawal. But unreactive presence. Why reactivity kills attraction? Reactivity tells a woman, you are emotionally dependent. You are easily shaken. You seek control through reassurance. Attraction dies when a woman feels she must manage your emotions. Stoicism teaches mastery of the self before mastery of circumstance. A Stoic man does not raise his voice, become sarcastic, turn cold out of spite. He stays internally consistent. And consistency is the language women trust most. Passing tests without knowing they exist. Here's the paradox. The men who pass tests best are the men who don't know, or don't care, that they're being tested. Why? Because they are living in alignment. They already have boundaries, direction, emotional self-sufficiency. So when a test appears, they don't perform. They simply continue being themselves. If she pulls away, they don't chase. If she challenges, they don't crumble. If she disrespects, they walk. No drama. No speeches. No ultimatums. Just action. The ultimate test, walking away calmly. Every woman tests this eventually. If I withdraw my affection, will you abandon yourself to keep me? Most men fail here. They tolerate disrespect. They lower standards. They negotiate their dignity. A Stoic man does something radical. He leaves, calmly. Not angrily. Not theatrically. Not to provoke a reaction. But because I do not stay where I am not respected. That single action communicates more than 1,000 affirmations. It tells her, you value yourself. You are not afraid of loss. You choose, you do not beg. This is the moment many women feel the deepest attraction, or the deepest regret. Why tests increase when attraction increases? Another truth men misunderstand. The more a woman cares, the more she tests. Why? Because now she has something to lose. Tests intensify when emotional attachment grows. Vulnerability increases. Future investment becomes real. A woman testing you is not proof she dislikes you. Often, it's proof she's considering you seriously. But seriousness requires safety. And safety requires strength. Stoic love is not emotional distance. Let's be clear. Stoicism is not emotional absence. It is emotional discipline. A stoic man still feels deeply, loves sincerely, cares fully. But he does not leak emotion under pressure. He does not punish. He does not plead. He does not collapse. He holds the line, internally. The core lesson of part 2. If you remember nothing else, remember this. Women test men to see if they can rest in their presence. Rest does not come from charm. It comes from emotional steadiness. The man who passes tests is not the man who wins arguments. He is the man who remains whole, regardless of outcome. Part 3. Why neediness repels women, even when they love you. This is the part most men resist. Because it forces them to look inward instead of blaming women. A woman can care about you. She can be attracted to you. She can even love you. And still, slowly lose desire. Not because you did something wrong. But because she felt needed instead of chosen. That difference is everything. Neediness is not wanting love. Let's be precise. Neediness is not wanting closeness. It's not missing someone. It's not expressing emotion. Neediness is requiring another person to regulate your inner state. It sounds like, I feel anxious when you pull away. I don't know who I am without you. I need you to feel okay. Even when unspoken, women feel this. And when they do, something in them shuts down. Not consciously. Biologically. Why women withdraw from needy men? Here is the hard truth I learned late. A woman cannot relax in her femininity. When she senses she is responsible for your emotional stability. Relaxation is the foundation of attraction. When she feels, you revolve around her mood. Your happiness depends on her attention. Your identity shrinks around the relationship. She doesn't feel loved. She feels burdened. And burden suffocates desire. Stoicism and emotional self-sufficiency. Stoicism teaches one uncompromising idea. Do not hand the keys to your inner peace to anyone. A stoic man enjoys love deeply. But he does not require it to stand upright. He has purpose beyond the relationship. Discipline independent of validation. Meaning that existed before her. So when she enters his life, she joins a moving train. Not a man waiting at the station. Women feel safest with men who are already in motion. How neediness shows up in behavior. Most men don't realize they're needy because they don't feel weak. They feel in love. But behavior tells the truth. Neediness shows up as over-texting when replies slow. Seeking constant reassurance. Prioritizing her schedule over your principles. Losing boundaries to maintain harmony. Staying silent about disrespect to avoid conflict. Each act sends the same message. I value you more than I value myself. And no woman can desire a man who abandons himself. Why love doesn't save needy men. Here's the paradox that breaks men's hearts. A woman can love you, and still lose attraction. Love is emotional. Attraction is visceral. Neediness attacks attraction at its root because it signals lack of self-trust, fear of loss, emotional dependence. Stoic love understands this difference. You don't try to be less needy by suppressing feelings. You remove neediness by building inner solidity. The Stoic shift, from attachment to choice. A needy man attaches. A stoic man chooses. Attachment says, I need you to stay. Choice says, I enjoy you, but I will survive without you. That single shift changes everything. Your tone changes. Your posture changes. Your decisions sharpen. And women feel it immediately. Not because you said it, but because you no longer leak urgency. Emotional independence is magnetic. When a woman senses that, you can lose her without losing yourself. You can walk away without bitterness. You don't negotiate your values for affection. She relaxes. And relaxed women open. Open women bond. Bonded women invest. Stoicism is not emotional distance. It's emotional grounding. The moment you must be willing to lose her. Every meaningful relationship reaches this moment. A line is crossed. A boundary is tested. Your dignity is quietly challenged. A needy man thinks, if I stand firm, I'll lose her. A stoic man thinks, if I don't stand firm, I lose myself. And here is the cruel irony. Many men lose women because they refuse to risk losing them. Women don't leave because you were strong. They leave because you stopped being whole. The core lesson of part 3. Remember this. Women are drawn to men who want them. But stay with men who don't need them. Neediness is not cured by acting indifferent. It is cured by becoming complete. Build a life that stands without her. Then invite her into it. That is Stoic love. Love is actually like a mirror reflecting the inner self. When we are calm enough, we will realize that every challenge, every silence carries a valuable lesson. And that is what I want to convey through each story on this channel. If you feel that these shares bring value, please leave a like to support the channel. And don't forget to subscribe, because who knows, one day, just a small idea from these videos can change the way you look at love, at yourself. Let's continue with me, because there are many interesting things waiting for you to discover. Part 4. Why boundaries create desire, and tolerance destroys it. There is a lie many men grow up believing. If I'm patient enough, understanding enough, tolerant enough, she'll appreciate me. She might appreciate you. But appreciation is not desire. And relationships do not survive on appreciation. They survive on respect. Tolerance is often fear in disguise. Let's be honest. Most men don't tolerate bad behavior because they're kind. They tolerate it because they're afraid. Afraid of losing the connection. Creating conflict. Being alone again. Starting over. So they stay quiet. They let things slide. They tell themselves it's not a big deal. But every time you tolerate what violates your values, you teach her something. My boundaries are flexible when you push. And once boundaries bend, desire weakens. Women don't respect men who endure everything. This is uncomfortable, but necessary. A woman cannot fully respect a man who accepts inconsistency, allows subtle disrespect, prioritizes peace over truth, trades dignity for closeness. Why? Because respect is built on self-respect. And self-respect requires limits. Stoicism teaches, what you permit, you promote. If you allow chaos into your life, you are not being loving. You are being avoidant. Boundaries are not ultimatums. Many men misunderstand boundaries. They think boundaries are threats. If you do this, I'll leave. You better change or else. That's not a boundary. That's insecurity dressed as authority. A stoic boundary is quiet. It sounds like, I'm not okay with that. That doesn't work for me. I won't continue this if it stays like this. No anger. No lectures. No emotional charge. Just clarity. And then, action. Why women feel safer with boundaries. Here's something counterintuitive. Boundaries don't push women away. They make women feel safe. Why? Because boundaries signal emotional maturity, self-knowledge, predictability, leadership. A woman relaxes when she knows where the line is, that you will enforce it calmly, that she doesn't have to test endlessly. Chaos comes from ambiguity. Desire thrives in structure. The Stoic man doesn't negotiate his core. A Stoic man knows the difference between preferences, flexible, values, non-negotiable. He can compromise on restaurants. He does not compromise on respect. When a woman crosses a line, he doesn't explode. He observes. He responds once. And if behavior continues, he leaves. No speeches. No threats. No resentment. Just alignment. Why men lose women by being too understanding. Understanding without boundaries becomes self-erasure. Many men think, she's emotional, I should be patient. Patience is strength, until it becomes self-abandonment. Women don't want a man who absorbs everything. They want a man who can hold the frame. A frame is not control. It's stability. And stability creates polarity. The moment boundaries create attraction. There is a moment many men experience but misunderstand. They finally say no. They finally step back. They finally stop tolerating behavior. And suddenly, she becomes warmer. She reaches out more. She shows respect. Men think, why now? Because boundaries reawaken polarity. They remind her, you are not desperate. You are not owned. You choose her, daily. Desire returns where self-respect is restored. The hardest boundary, walking away peacefully. The ultimate boundary is not words. It's departure. A Stoic man leaves without rage. Without insults. Without burning bridges. He simply removes himself from what no longer aligns. That quiet exit echoes louder than any argument. And sometimes, that is the moment a woman realizes what she lost. But a Stoic man doesn't leave to teach a lesson. He leaves to remain whole. The core lesson of Part 4. Remember this. Love without boundaries becomes submission. Boundaries without anger become authority. Women desire men who respect themselves. More than they desire men who tolerate everything. Stoic love is not about control. It's about clarity, and the courage to act on it. Part 5. What women ultimately seek in men, beyond attraction, beyond love. After all the theories, the tactics, the misunderstandings. Everything comes down to this. Women are not searching for excitement forever. They are not chasing intensity endlessly. They are not addicted to drama the way bitter men claim. What women ultimately seek is something far quieter. And far rarer. They seek emotional safety inside strength. Attraction opens the door, character decides who stays. Attraction brings her closer. Confidence keeps her interested. Boundaries earn respect. But what makes a woman stay? What makes her soften, commit, invest? Is character under pressure. She watches. Who you become when things go wrong. How you handle loss. How you treat power. How you respond to disappointment. Not when you're winning. When you're tested. A Stoic man does not become smaller under stress. he becomes clearer. Women don't want to be your purpose. This is where many men make their final mistake. They think, if I make her my world, she'll feel special. She might feel important. But she won't feel safe. A woman does not want to be your purpose. She wants to walk beside a man who already has one. Purpose gives a man gravity. Gravity creates polarity. Polarity sustains desire. Stoicism teaches: live according to your values, not your attachments. A man anchored in purpose cannot be emotionally hijacked. And women trust men who cannot be hijacked. Emotional leadership is the silent requirement. Leadership in love is not dominance. It is emotional orientation. When uncertainty appears, can you stay calm? Can you decide without panic? Can you accept outcomes without resentment? A woman doesn't want to drag a man through life. She wants to rest in his direction. That rest is priceless. Why women leave even good men? This is painful, but honest. Women don't leave because you weren't kind enough. They leave because you weren't grounded enough. Good intentions don't compensate for lack of self-direction, emotional volatility, fear-based decision-making, absence of inner authority. Stoic love does not beg to be chosen. It stands, and lets choice reveal itself. The calm masculinity women trust. At the deepest level, women are drawn to men who embody this paradox. Gentle, but not weak. Firm, but not cruel. Open, but not needy. Present, but not dependent. This balance cannot be faked. It can only be built. Through discipline. Through solitude. Through loss. Through self-honesty. Stoicism is not a mask. It is the result of work. When a woman feels safe enough to be herself. Here is the reward most men never reach. When a woman senses she is not responsible for your emotions. She cannot manipulate your center. She cannot destabilize your identity. She relaxes. And in that relaxation, she becomes softer, more loyal, more feminine, more invested. Not because you demanded it, but because you created the conditions for it. Love without attachment. This is the highest form of Stoic love. You love deeply. Without clinging. You commit sincerely. Without losing yourself. You give fully. Without fear of loss. Because you understand something essential. Nothing that is meant for you requires you to abandon yourself to keep it. The final truth. If I could leave you with one truth, just one, it would be this. Women are not drawn to men who try to understand them perfectly. They are drawn to men who understand themselves. Master yourself. And love becomes clear. Not easy. Not guaranteed. But honest. And real. That is Stoic love. Conclusion. Understanding women is not about memorizing behaviors or decoding hidden signals. It is not about tactics, tricks, or psychological shortcuts. At its core, understanding women begins with understanding yourself. Women respond not to what a man claims to be, but to what he consistently embodies. They feel strength before it is spoken. They sense insecurity long before it is confessed. Every action you take sends a message. Not just to her, but to yourself. Stoic love teaches a simple yet demanding truth. A man must become emotionally sovereign before he can love without fear. When you are grounded, you don't chase. When you are centered, you don't react. When you respect yourself, you don't tolerate what diminishes you. And in that inner stability, something remarkable happens. A woman no longer feels the need to test endlessly. She no longer feels responsible for your emotional state. She no longer feels the pressure to lead where she longs to rest. What she feels instead is safety. Not the safety of comfort, but the safety of strength. This is not about control. It is not about dominance or emotional distance. It is about becoming the kind of man whose presence allows a woman to be fully herself, because you are fully yourself. In the end, women are not asking for perfection. They are asking for consistency, clarity, and calm. Master your reactions. Honor your boundaries. Build a life that stands with or without approval. Do this, and love stops feeling like a battle. It becomes a choice. Thank you for taking the time to watch today's video. Hopefully the sharing about love and lessons from this video will help you have new thoughts and find empathy. If you find the video useful, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel and share with those around you. Each of us has our own stories about love, and I'm happy to explore them with you. See you in the next videos. Wishing you a wonderful day filled with love.